Greetings, pilgrims. Welcome back to another episode of the Polygon Pilgrimage. And today we have one final foundational step to cover before we can really jump in with our ultimate battle royale. I apologize, it's going to be a bit of a talky episode, but this is important information and this is the final step, and this is going to be key for all of your projects, regardless of if it's the battle royale or not. This is important. So let's take some final notes, let's get cracking, and then we'll get to slinging code, making cool 3D models, and all the fancy effects. You'll be dropping in no time, okay? Here we go. So as you can see on the screen now, we're going to be talking about version control. And this is very important for any project, any file. You could have an entire Unity game complete, or you could have a screenplay, you could have some music you're writing, anything. You can version control it. You can control the version as it goes through its life cycle. So from the first draft to the final output, you can go back to any step with version control. So let's look at some of the problems that version control helps us fix. First problem is everything could break. It could all just burst into flames, metaphorically speaking. So with coding especially, you can run into problems where you make a change, you hit enter, okay, let's test it. It's all broken. Where did all these errors come from? Well, typically you can comment that code out or see what you did, but say there's a bigger problem and you don't know what changed, version control can help you step back. Secondly, there we have how can I go back? How do you go back to a previous version? How do you go back to a file that you're missing something? Version control helps you with that. And the basic concept of trust, both trust in your system, your hardware, your software, your friends, whoever you might be working with. They might make a change, either malicious or innocent, and we want to make sure that we can control that in case there's a problem, we can go back, okay? Now, I'm going to oversimplify the rest of this, so I apologize to our expert viewers, but this is for the majority of the audience. There are generally two schools of thought when it comes to source control in relation to Unity. We have Git, or we have some kind of source control, version control. There's all kinds of them, but we're going to talk about just Git or the Unity Colab. Now, I am using Unity Colab in two different projects right now. It has its strengths, it has its weaknesses. It tries to sort of simplify this process for you. And then there's Git, which is much more widely used and can be used for any types of files, not just Unity-specific files. So I'm going to be teaching you guys how to use Git, specifically how to use GitHub Desktop as the application to simplify the Git interface for us. All right? So what is Git exactly? So Git is a version control piece of software, and it has the ability to allow us to back up our files. We can kind of keep them safe. We can track changes. So every single change to your file, literally down to every character you type into your script, we can track this. We can collaborate with others. So I can put up a Git repo, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and then I can share it with you guys, which is what I'm going to be doing with the Battle Royale, so that you can download it and have it for yourself. And we can do checkpoints. So we can do branches, we can do moments in time where the project was. We can branch off and go a different direction. So we're safe to experiment, and we can say, what if I did this, or I want to try to add this plugin or something like that, right? That's a way that we can safely do that. And we can always step back in time, back in the project timeline to say, no, that didn't work out, I didn't like that. So we're safe to do so. Now, GitHub is a website which helps to store, organize, categorize your Git repositories. We'll talk about, again, what those are in a little bit. And we're going to use a program called GitHub Desktop. And this is just to make the process of Git, the language of Git, a bit easier. And this will be a 99% solution for us. There's going to be a few rare corner cases you might have an issue, but if you follow the steps prescribed in this video, you'll be fine. And if you have an issue, please, as always, feel free to come to the Pilgrimage Discord, go into the help, and myself will be there. Big shout out to Monsoon EXE. He's the one who helped me with all of this information here. So he'll be able to help. We'll be there to help you guys with any of the 1% corner cases. Now, before we move forward, let's talk about some Git terms. I'm going to be using the correct terms, so I wanted to simplify this for you with the language a little bit and let you understand what's going on. So a repository, or sometimes referred to as a repo for short, this is sort of like your project folder. So in Git, this is going to be the container wherein you store all of your stuff. And then that's the stuff you want Git to track for you, okay? So think of this like your folder for your Unity project on your computer. Next, we have a commit. This is kind of like a save file in a video game, right? You're saying, hey, at this point, I want to push up all my progress and have it safe so that I'm about to do something. And if I don't like it, I can come back to it, right? That's exactly what we do in video games, I'm like, okay, well, I need this NPC, but I'm mad at them. So I'm going to save it and I'm going to kill them and I'm going to feel better. I'm going to reload and continue on with the game, right? So that's what we can do here. Same kind of thing. So a commit is like a video game save file. We're going to commit the data. We're going to say, yep, here it is. Next up, we have a push. This is going to send the data from our local repository up to the cloud. Think of this as like uploading your saved data to the storage. If you're like me and you do PS4, I can save my upload files to the PlayStation Network. So then if I, lose my PlayStation, whatever, I can download it again. Then we have a pull. So this is the opposite of a push. Push and pull makes sense, just like how doors work. This is we're going to get a copy of the project. We're going to download it from the cloud. So this will have instructions at the end of this video for you guys how to download the current status of the Ultimate Battle Royale project. So you could, yes, be a little lazy and just go right to the link in every video and just download the current repo if you want. So it will be available in case you are following along and you have trouble and you want to pull down a working copy, a working example. You'll be able to do a pull and pull that data down for yourself. Then we have a branch. A branch is like a copy in a way. It allows you to go into a different direction. But the really nice thing about Git and source control is it's a delta. So what delta means is when you subtract two numbers, you get the delta, you get the difference. So the delta means Git only says, here's my project. Now I'm going to put in a character. Now I'm going to make that character blue. Well, now I can do a branch and say, okay, but what if I made the characters red? The only change it's tracking in my branch is the blue to red color change. It will refer back to what's called the master branch, the beginning of my project, for everything else, which means that our tracked changes are going to be much lighter and much less heavy on our system. So that leads us into the why source control. So lots of reasons, but primarily track changes, not copies. So what we want to do is we want to say, if I want to have a project that has a long life to it, I don't want to have 75 folders on my computer that's a copy of everything of the project, but then the little bit that I changed, right? That's heavy file system wise. That's taking up storage space. So let's just track what we changed. Much simpler. It's also automatable. For my full-time work, I do some SVN, which is another Git-like program, and we can automate it. You can actually push things automatically, pull things down. That's some advanced coding, but that's one of the things that's nice about source control is that these things are possibilities. And then you can use it kind of like a cloud backup. This is how I do a lot of things. I live in Florida where there's a lot of thunderstorms, and I have a lot of equipment here, so I don't risk it. Whenever there's a thunderstorm, I shut it all down, I unplug it. So what I can do is to still work for you guys and still work for my clients, I will push my projects to Git myself, and then I'll go to my laptop and I'll pull the repository. So then I can keep working. So the project is there, and then I'll just push it back to the repo, and the next time I sit back at my desk when the storms have passed, I can just plug back in and then pull again, and I'm right back to where I was. So that's what we've got so far. Now, what we're going to do from here is we're going to go through how to actually go through the steps, all right? So first of all, let me show you this website. Let's pull this guy up. Okay, here it is. So here we have GitHub itself. So here's GitHub, and over here in the corner, I have a new account I've created called the Polygon Pilgrimage, and this is where I'm going to put all the stuff for you guys, all right? So you can just go to github.com, link will be in the description, and then sign up for an account if you don't have one already. And then once you're logged in, you'll see signed in as, and then your username here. Perfect. Now what we need is GitHub Desktop. So if we go to this link, desktop.github.com, you can download the software here. It does come for Windows or Mac, and this is what it looks like, but we're going to go over that in just a second, okay? So download that, get it installed. You can't see it here because I have it covered, but I already have it up and running. So I'm just going to click that and bring it up. There we go. I don't care. Yeah, remove that. There we go. Okay, so it's going to clean up some stuff that I was doing here. Let's close that up. There we go. Okay, so this is what the interface looks like, and you can ignore pretty much all of this for a second. But essentially, we're going to have our top menu bar here. On the left is going to be the changes to our project. And right now I've got all this hopefully blurred out because this is a previous thing that is not for you guys. And over here, you can look at the individual files. It'll show you what the changes were. So for us, for today, what we're going to do is we're going to follow the following steps. So we are going to first, let's log in. So if we go File, Options, it'll pop up here with my options. I'm going to say Accounts. And if you don't see this, you have to say sign in. So sign into your account. Click that there, and I have it here. See, the Polygon pilgrimage. We're all signed in, ready to go. Perfect. Now what this has done is this has linked our GitHub Desktop, which is a locally installed application, to our GitHub website account. So that now when I push things through this interface, it's going to go up to that cloud. Perfect. So now let's do a file, new repository. I'm going to come up with this repository. So I'm going to call this UBR official repo. I'm going to spell repo properly. There we go. Now you can give a description. So you can say the official repo for the UBR series. There we go. Now the local path is going to be the path on your computer minus this name. Okay. So for me, I just let it put it where it wants to, which is the C users owner is the name of my computer, documents, GitHub. So C users documents is a pretty common place. That's where your pictures are, your videos, all that kind of stuff. I just let it go there. That's fine. No worries at all. And then it's going to create a slash this name. Okay. Now, actually, I'm just going to change this to UBR repo. It's just a little shorter. Now, GitHub ignore. Right here, we're going to say, I'm going to click and choose, there is a Unity one towards the bottom here. There you go, Unity. This means there are certain files that Git will ignore. Things you don't really need to be a part of the repo, things that get generated by themselves, or things that are just not necessary. So it already has a list of those things that are related to Unity. And these are files you don't typically see, like the metadata, that sort of thing. So we'll just leave that there as Unity, and that will do it for us. Our license, I'm going to say none for the moment. You can choose what is good for you. You'd have to look these up to really understand them, but it's different if you're going to put something out to the world, to the public. What are the rules and laws around that? For me, this is something entirely I made. You guys are free to use it. Of course, it's part of this series. So there you go, license none. There we go. So now we're going to click create repository. So I'm going to do that. Click, and there we go. It's done. It's that quick. Now you can see here, nothing has changed over here. We have no changes yet, no local changes. There's nothing that has been happening with our project yet because we haven't done anything with our project yet. We literally just created the repo. So now that it is created, what we need to do is put stuff into it, right? We need to do stuff with our project. So I'm going to minimize this, and you can see here I have two folders. I have my local Unity projects folder, and I have my GitHub folder. Now I'm going to take my project, and I'm actually going to copy it for now. I don't want to cut it necessarily. And I'm going to go over here to my GitHub folder, and if I hit refresh, we can see right here, UBR repo. So there's the folder that it created. If I open that up, you'll see some Git stuff here. This is just files that Git puts in here to say, okay, I know how to use this now. And just right here in the blank space, I'm going to right click and say paste. Now it's going to copy my whole project over there. Now I did tell you to cut it. You can cut it. I like to copy first, make sure the copy all the way went through, nothing happened, no craziness, and then I will delete the other one later. So that's fine for now, and I'll show you how to reset up your Unity Hub to select this folder, and I'll show we can test some changes to it, okay? All right, so it is done. Perfect. Now if we come back to GitHub Desktop here, it says, whoa, there were now 5,659 changes because this is just all the stuff that comes with Unity, all the files that are involved in our project, everything in here, okay? So anytime you make a change to your project, so we just opened up our project, we're working on it, okay, yep, everything looks good, I'm done. Now what I'm going to do is say, now that this is complete, I want to give it a summary, so always give it a description. So I'm going to say initial commit. So this is the first time we're putting it into GitHub. So this is the first time we are uploading to GitHub. There we go. So give some sort of title here, say worked on animations, and then specify what animations you worked on here. You know, give some notes, that kind of thing. So I'm going to commit to master. Okay, so it's working on it. You see that little double chasing arrows right there? It's going to go round and round until it's done. And when it's done, we're going to publish this repository to GitHub. That means it will be available in the cloud, and I'll show you that in a moment. So we'll be right back when this is complete, okay? All right, so we are back, and now as you can see, once again, it says that there are no local changes because everything that I have locally matches what is now in my repo in the cloud. So now let's go ahead and publish our repository. And we're going to say, what is it? We're going to put it on GitHub. Now, you can check this box to say, keep this code private. That's a good idea for if this is just for you or just for you and a few friends or whoever's helping you with it. You can share this with them privately. You can invite them to the project. For me, I'm not going to check this because it is going to be public to all. Okay? And I'll click Publish Repository. And this won't take very long at all. You can see up here the status. It'll tell you what it's doing and how it's going. So pushing to origin means that the origin is your GitHub spot on github.com on the website, your little area there. So it's pushing everything up there. And we'll talk about one more thing once that's complete. And then we're going to go over how to set up your Unity Hub to connect to this again. And then I'll show you from the other end what it's like to pull a repo so that you understand what it looks like on your end to pull from me. Okay? So we'll be back in just a second. Okay, there we are. That was actually really fast. Didn't even have to edit. So it's done. And now you can see, now it says fetch origin. What does that mean? So this means that if, like me, like I said, I make changes here on my desktop, I push it, and then I go into my laptop and I pull up the repo here. Fetch origin means it'll pull any changes. It'll fetch from the origin anything that is different. Right now it says last fetched just now. There's nothing different, right? So there's nothing for us to do with that. Okay, now, if I pull up Unity Hub, you'll notice that when I go to pull up my project, it's going to say that it's no longer where it should be. I'm not going to click it, do it, because you'll see in a second. So we need to add it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove it. So I'm going to say remove from list. Yep. And I'm going to add my project. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my documents, GitHub, and then here you will see, where is it? Right here. UBR repo, open that up, open this guy up so that I can see the assets folder, and then I just click select folder. Now that that's complete, you'll see that the path here has changed. See users, owner, documents, GitHub, blah, 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 blah. And I last opened it 5 minutes ago, just before I started recording. Yep. So this now is connected to that folder, which means now, just like a normal Unity project, you just open Unity Hub. You click on your project, you go into it, you work on it, you do whatever you need to do, blah, 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 we're done, and then you can save and make changes. So I'm going to do that real quick just to show you what this process looks like. So I'll be back in just a second as soon as the project loads. Okay, so here we are inside the project, and I'm just going to show you how we're going to make a quick change just so that it's easy to tell that something changed. So I'm literally just going to right click, create, and let's create a material, okay, just something. So this is our GitHub test. There you go. That's all I'm going to do. It's just a file, a new thing we've added to the project. So I'm going to save the project and exit. And now we're right here, and look what happened. So now here we are. I'm inside of GitHub Desktop. And it shows me, hey, for the Ultimate Battle Royale tutorial series, something was added. You see these little pluses? Little pluses mean a new file, and these say that something has changed. So these are Unity saying, okay, we've noticed and we've added things to the way that they handle stuff. But you can see here, GitHub test.mat and then .mat.meta. Now it's not actually going to keep the meta because it's using the Unity ignore file for Git, but we can say testing the ability to make changes and have GitHub Desktop see them. So now you can see that when you make changes, it'll show you what's changed. And if you made a change but you don't want to push it up, that's another important thing, right? So if you don't want to push it up, you can just uncheck these. That'll do it. Or there is a way to right click, I think here, yeah, discard all changes. So they'll say, nope, I know that I had this open. I'm sorry, I don't really want to push anything. I'm going to push it anyway. So first we have to fetch before we're allowed to push. So if I commit, I can commit. Now it shows push. I have to push the data from here, push it out to my cloud, right? Push, and there you go. So it's going to go up. It's going to be very quick. Boom, and it fetched. So that whole push it and then fetch the changes. That way, if you were working on the project and I had to get your changes first, I'd have to pull or fetch from the origin, and then I could push my changes to you. Makes sense, right? Okay, now Lastly, let's go back to our GitHub desktop here, GitHub. And now if I go to my projects, I should be able to see my work, right? So let me go to your repositories. Go to repositories. I have UBR repo, okay? Here we are. Okay, so this link will be in the description for pretty much every video going forward. And what we're going to do is we're going to make branches. So if you're, say, coming in on episode 30, right? You'll be able to click right here where it says master right now. I know there's not any more right here, but you'll be able to click view all branches and there'll be a whole long list of branches. So you can click on the branch for the episode you want to go to. If you are, say, coming in, you say, I just want to catch up all at once, right? You know, you've never done any of it. You just want to pull the final project. Say it's years from now, it's all done. You just want to pull it down. Or at any point, you just come to this link and say code. And you can say open with GitHub Desktop. That would open GitHub Desktop for you if you have it installed and you're all signed in. And then you can just click to say clone repository and pull it down. Or you can click this download zip if you don't want to use GitHub Desktop at all. If you're not interested in source control at all, you just want to pull the project. You can click download zip and that would download a zipped copy of the project. But the open with GitHub Desktop is the best way if you want to keep with the GitHub, flow that we've got going on. So you can do that too. So that's how you're going to do it. You're going to click there and say open with GitHub Desktop. Let me show you really quick what that looks like from my perspective so that you understand when you do it. Okay? So let's search all of GitHub for Unity itself, right? So I'm going to search for Unity. This is searching my stuff. I want to search all of GitHub. That's fine. We'll just do GitHub Unity. There we go. So now if we just go to, let's see. I want, just something from someone else. So from Unity themselves, right? So here's all of their stuff and here's how to do things, right? So for me, I would go over here and say, open with GitHub Desktop, right? And it's going to say, always allow, open with GitHub Desktop. It's already open. And this is what you're going to see when you pull from mine, okay? It's going to say clone a repository. Yep, I'm cloning from here. And here's the URL. It's already filled in. And I'm going to say, where do I want to put it? So I want to put it in my GitHub folder and say testing cloning for the video, just so that you guys see what it looks like. And I'm going to click clone and it's going to do this for a bit. And now it's pulling everything from their repository onto my local computer. So this is what it's going to look like for you when you pull from me. It'll say, hey, cloning from, it'll show my URL and say it's pulling down to you. So this is what it will look like. This just takes a little bit and then it'll be all done. You'll be all set up. And just like we did before, you can go into your Unity hub and you can say new and you can point to this folder that is where you pointed this to and you'll be able to pull that project in. Then you'll be able to make changes and push it. Now, you'll be able to push to your repository. You won't be able to push to mine necessarily, but so something failed here with my options. Oh, I logged out. So sorry about that. But that will finish and it will pop up just like it did before and you guys will be all set, promise. Okay. So that's all we have for now. I hope that you guys have enjoyed. I know, again, a lot more talking and making sure that we understand these principles. But now that we're done, I'm going to push my project. As you saw, it's up. You can pull down from the link. Enjoy. If you guys have any comments, questions, any kind of trouble, as always, please use the help channel. Or, you can message me directly if you really want to. But you try to use the help channel so we can run into these problems together. We can share them with others. We can see that everybody can see the solution to the problems. That's one of the most important things is when we run into a problem, we want to handle it together so that we can all learn and grow from it. That's what I really believe in. So thank you again. Thank you again to Monsoon.exe for his help in learning this stuff myself a couple of years ago and sharing it with you guys now so that we can move forward together with a safe project that is backed up and stored and we're ready to move forward. So next video, I'll see you guys there. We're going to be starting up with some Photon Pun. Anybody up for that? Some multiplayer networking maybe? We're going to get started with it, okay? So until then, guys, keep practicing, get better, and I'll see you next time as the pilgrimage continues.